Hello there.
And welcome to another review on the Behooded Files channel. I'm your host, the Behooded Files here, and today we are doing something a little bit different from my usual content. Now, usually when I make rant videos like these, I usually talk about stuff like Warhammer, 40k, the decisions that GW makes, and how sometimes they're not really that good once you actually think about them, or other times it's about people misunderstanding what Warhammer is. Really take your pick. But today, this isn't going to be a Warhammer video that I'm going to talk about. So if you clicked on this video thinking, oh shit, Behooded Files is going to make a new Warhammer video. No, this isn't a Warhammer video. So, yeah, if you don't like that, then just go watch another video on my channel if that's fine, or continue on with your day. For the rest of you who are intrigued of this video, hello there, welcome. And today we're going to be talking about a little something that I was planning to make in 2024, but it kept getting delayed and stuff, mainly due to the fact that A, editing is an absolute fucking nightmare, and I would not wish it upon anybody to edit a bunch of different pictures on the internet together to make a cohesive video. And secondly, it was not loading properly on any of the platforms I tried using it on, mostly in my photos, so I could not upload it to YouTube. Therefore, I scrapped this video a while back, but now I have a bit more confidence to tackle this video again. Also, before we continue, I'll probably just be putting a bunch of gameplay footage from various different games that I have, just to pan out all this runtime stuff. So instead of you seeing images pop up on the screen about what I'm talking about, which is honestly a pain to edit, I'm just gonna put random video game footage in the background. So yeah, just letting you know about that, if you will. Anyways, today though we're going to be reviewing / talking about a very interesting show, which I bet a lot of you guys have never heard of before. Well, I say a lot. I'm pretty sure some people who've pressed on this video probably know what I'm talking about. But for those of you who don't, I ask you this. Have you ever heard of a show called My Pride before? No? Well, I'll give you the basics of what this thing is. So, My Pride is a show created by the Canadian animator Tribble of Doom, who previously worked on another animated series called Call of the Wild. Now, I have checked out Call of the Wild, and I have to say, it's pretty mid. Sure, it has some good storytelling beats, but the animation's very low quality at the beginning of it, and you could say that the ending's kind of a bit lackluster. But to be fair, the ending just ends off on a cliffhanger, which you'll definitely see plenty of with this person's work, because Tribble of Doom basically doesn't like ending her series, something which we'll get into more later when we talk about all the My Pride stuff. So, with that being said, after, she created Call of the Wild, she essentially started teasing her newest project called My Pride to the masses, and basically Call of the Wild was basically taken out the back and shot.
I'm sorry, boy. Oh, come on. Don't do the dance. Don't make this harder than it has to be.
Yeah. And thus My Pride took its place on the channel, where there it remained as its top performing show until diving off a cliff out of the public interest because people just stopped caring about it because, the creator kind of lost funding for a show. From the Canadian government, I mind you. Granted, not the actual Canadian government, but an organization funded by the Canadian government. Which, I mean, as a Canadian myself, our government's already bad enough. I don't need to find out that half of the money that, people are paying for was spent on this show. I mean, have you seen the amount of inflation that we have? Jesus Christ. People in the States always, talk about, oh, how our stuff's so expensive. Come up here to Canada and, look at our prices and you will see, that $10 price difference because holy shit. It's just, our stuff, way more expensive. But anyways, ranting about, my own country besides that. Yeah, my pride. After all is said and done, what are my thoughts on it? Well, to quote Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
And I've got to say, in all honesty, it's the biggest piece of dog shit that I have ever heard. Everyone's laughing, by the way, but it's true because everybody's heard it too. Everyone heard it, right? They look at all, everyone's like, yeah, big piece of dog shit. Shouldn't be called Black Rose, it should be called big piece of black dog shit. That's what it should be called. Not even the hard, dried up dog shit for 7 days. It's the soft dog shit. It's like baby shit. It's like that. That's what the album is like. And I never want to hear it again, and I'm never going to fucking forgive him for wasting my time. That is time I will never get back. It's like dog shit is in my ear. Motherfucker.
Yeah, if you somehow thought this video was gonna be a whole, positive review about how my pride's so amazing and underrated, you came to the wrong review, buddy, because today we're gonna be talking about this show and why it's probably one of the worst shows I've ever seen on this platform. Which is saying something, considering the fact that there are many other, horrendously animated shows out there, like Hell of a Boss and Has Been. And I'll tell you for a fact that this show makes them look like leagues better in comparison. I'm gonna say that right now. Has Been Hotel and Hell of a Boss look 1,000 times better than my pride. And as we will get into, you're gonna see that more and more. But before we do all that, first we have to kind of explain what My Pride is about, its story and all this other stuff. So then we at least can get a grip of what we're tangling with here. So before I begin, I recommend checking out a lot of the episodes first, so then you can have more context, as I'm just going to briefly skim over the entire story of this series in not as much detail because, well, this is kind of a short review. I don't want it to be too long. So, I'm just going to explain it in short value. So, if you want more detailed stuff, then just go watch the episode because, well, the episode's free on YouTube. So, all of them are actually. So, you can just type up, look up a playlist, have all the episodes there and watch them all, then come back to this video and enjoy. And if you have already watched the episodes, feel free to skip this whole explaining part. With that being said, here's the story of My Pride. So My Pride takes place in this world where a lion by the name of Light creates a system known as Pride Law, which essentially is just biologically accurate lion stuff. It also isn't what you think either, because I know a lot of people who are going to hear the word Pride Law are probably going to think, oh, is it the Law of the Jungle from Jungle Book? No, it's not. It's it's very fucking weird, and we will get into why it's so weird in the first place, because I don't know, Pride Law is just badly written in a world building sense, and you will see that as I will cover it later. But anyways, this lion named Light creates Pride Law because his girlfriend got kidnapped by an evil lioness by the name of Krabi and all this other stuff, and he killed her, and the three kingdoms, which were the three elemental kingdoms that the lions lived in, fell apart, so he had to create his own new religious system to keep the lions subdued and controlled, I guess. Also, the lions also worship three goddesses. Azra, the goddess of the moon and death and all that other stuff. Suns, the goddess of rage and fire. And Kansu, the goddess of rain and traveling, I guess. Anyways, And this is where we meet our main protagonist of the series, Nothing, who is basically a disabled lioness who lives in a pride full of lions who despise her after her previous father and her brother were murdered by a crazed mane by the name of Quickmane, which is what they refer to as rogue lions, as manes, no manes, sorry, not manes, as no manes, because they don't get their manes until they conquer pride, I guess. And after all that's said and done, she also, protected herself from the mane, Quickmane, and injured him.
You've done yourself a favor, cub.
Get away from my brother! Spark!
Oops. Don't be sad, little lioness. You'll be with him again momentarily.
Astra may take me, but you will never win.
What's that supposed to be? Let go of me, demon!
Giving him a nasty little scar, but also getting injured herself. And her other brother, Fire, also survived and all this other stuff. Now, I'm not going to mention, her father or her other brother's name because they really are not that important to the plot, at all in the whole entire series of My Pride. They're kind of just there to add some additional, trauma and tragedy to our main character, I guess. So, yeah, if they're not doing anything in later episodes, then I'm not going to mention them. Sorry. I just don't care. Anyway, she takes a Huntress assessment to prove her worth to the Pride, and has her self-esteem beaten down to the ground. And by that, I mean her mother, Power Strike, names her Nothing. Yeah, I'm not even kidding.
Happy now? Now that you've wasted my time and embarrassed yourself in front of the Pride?
No, Hunt Chief. I shouldn't have insisted. I'll take the name you selected. You were right.
It's too late for that now. You wanted to be assessed for your strengths, and so you have been. As the Hunt Chief of this Pride, I put forward that this lioness shall henceforth be known as Nothing.
You're no talent, you're nothing!
And after that's said and done, she also has to say goodbye to her brother who's getting exiled because Pride law, I guess. She also goes to a river and encounters her girlfriend, Hover, who she forms a romantic relationship with, and all this other stuff. The Pride Lions show up and force her out. The Hover, not Nothing. And, they have this whole romantic thing in secret going on, I guess. You know? So, the fact that... who else? Oh, yeah. Nothing's siblings. Nothing has other siblings, like Silent Stalk and Farleap, who are basically the fucking bitch sisters of the Pride, I guess. You also have Feather, who is the cutest little adorable male lion you'll ever see. And to that I say, ho 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 ho! You wait till episode 9, because this motherfucker goes from innocent to fucking downright bizarre. And, you will see that. We will see that later. Oh, yeah, Sharp Tongue dies. She gets, unalived or some shit like that. The whole Pride holds a funeral for her. Hover shows up, and Nothing and Hover, Nothing gets Hover to join the Pride. Nothing also has these weird dreams where she's dreaming about, her in this, magical place. And there's this white lion by the name of Ghost, I guess, who's her spirit guide, I guess. And this will all be important later. Then Hover has to take an assessment, but she does it without her girlfriend. Fire shows up, so Nothing goes and falls. Also, Nothing has to take care of Quickmane's cubs, including Feather. Feather shows up, he sneaks off with her. They go and chat with some of the no-mains. Some of them are nice, like Tangled. Others are huge assholes, like Proudmane. Nothing and Feather go back to go see Hover's ceremony. Ghost shows up again and is Nothing has to break the cycle. Then the rest of the Pride show up and Quickman gets mad that nothing fucking left his cubs, I guess, and is gonna kill her, and then the goddesses intervene because, oh shit, I totally forgot. Sharp Tongue said that nothing was protected by God himself, or the goddesses, I should say.
They would already be dead. If you harm these cubs, you will earn the ire of the goddesses themselves.
How do you know the goddesses are involved?
I see things you cannot. I know.
So she has like full immunity, I guess, and Quickmane for some goddamn reason thinks she's a demon.
You did this. You're a demon! I've known it since you were young!
I didn't.
If the goddesses won't let me kill you, I'll take your worm of a brother instead!
Quickmane, no! He hasn't done anything! I'm sorry, it was me!
Stay away from me, demon!
Like, okay, you're literally protected by God himself. Like, how does that automatically make you a demon? You know what I'm saying? And then the whole Pride's mad at her for some reason because she made like one tiny fucking mistake, I guess. And now everyone's just upset with her. Even her fucking girlfriend, who literally said before, I don't care about having a Huntress assessment, and yet she's mad for missing Huntress assessment that she really didn't want to do or really didn't care.
My name is a part of me. They shouldn't be able to take it away.
You don't have to join. It's not too late to change your mind.
No, I want to. It's just... I'm Hover. I don't want to be not Hover. What were you before they called you nothing?
Pride Lionesses are born nameless. They just call us sister or daughter until we're old enough for our assessment. I never had a name before nothing.
But males are born with names.
They still have to earn their manes by leading a pride. None of us are born whole until we serve the pride.
Don't you see? All of it is just mind games. I hate it. And I hate that I care about it. I hate that I'm so nervous about this stupid test to get a stupid fake new name.
A few moments later.
I'll catch up.
Long Run. You completed your ceremony.
Yeah. You'd know if you'd come.
I tried. But fire was here, and I lost track of time.
I don't care. You broke a promise.
Well, I'm sorry. But Hover... Long Run. I really do need your help right now. I can't stop Quickmane alone, please.
I joined this pride for you, nothing. I did it because I care about you.
I know, but...
This was important to me. I threw away my life for this. For you! You chose to go off with fire and miss my ceremony. You did that.
I said I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to happen this way.
I don't care what you meant. I care what you did. All of this is your own fault. So solve it yourself.
Hover, come on.
That's not my name anymore. I'll see you back at the step.
Would you really be that mad? Just saying. She's forced to leave the Pride because Proud, that guy I mentioned before, killed Quickmane, so now he's in control of the Pride now. And Feather shows up, and Feather survives, I guess. Which, I mean, I guess rip Quickmane's other litters, but yeah, they're here, there, everywhere. And Nothing and Feather go off into the Stretch, which is like this giant, ever-expanding desert, kind of like Tatooine from Star Wars, but without a bunch of sand people running around fucking ambushing people, or frickin' desert hobos walking around making dragon noises. God, I wish I was watching Star Wars right now instead of this crap. But hey, the review must go on, right? So yeah, they live in the desert now, I guess. Not Obi-Wan shows up. Her name's Rain. She's basically like, I can show you water and stuff, and then she does that. And then, like, Nothing also has another dream about, like, glowing lionesses and stuff, and all this other, like, crap. So then we cut back to the Pride, and Hover's all depressed because she got mad at Nothing for a really stupid reason. What else? Oh yeah, Farleap's there, and she pretty much does the stupidest thing to try to get the audience to sympathize with her. By that I mean she throws her disabled sister under the bus by saying shit like this.
Are you thinking about her? Thought so. I've seen that look on my mother's face since I was a cub. No matter how perfect I was, her attention always fell back to our troubled older sister. I was first place in everything else. But never that. I hated nothing so much for that.
You serious?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a lot to say about that once we get to the juicy part of this video. But, anyways, Rain shows up and is basically like, oh yeah, nothing's alive, by the way. And Hover's like, nothing's alive. And yeah, she's like, yeah, she's alive. I just saw her on a stretch. So then they go to Proudmane to check because they think nothing's alive and that Proudmane might hold the answers, I guess. They confront Proudmane. Proudmane says, I have done no such thing. And then they all like fight. By that I mean like Proudmane just scratches Farleap and that's pretty much the fight. Disappointing just as much as this whole entire show, I would describe this scene as. Power Strike is also good now and wants to help Nothing, and Farleap too is good now and wants to help Nothing, and them with Hover go and look for them, I guess. Feather and Nothing are out in the stretch, and Rain shows up, and Rain's revealed to be, oh shit, she's Cancer. Remember the Rain Goddess? You can't sue Morty. It's Rain. She's Cansu. I didn't definitely see this coming. Like the goddess of rain being revealed to be a lioness named Rain. Oh my God! Tribble of Doom, such a fucking genius. Oh my God! Let's award her with a medal, everybody. Come on, everybody, give Tribble of Doom a round of applause for being such a good writer. Oh my God! I never would have seen that coming. Oh my fucking God! This show is so fucking predictable. And yeah, she kind of just shows Nothing like the truth about the whole Light and Kyoga thing, that Kyoga actually loved Karabi and shit like that, and Light fucking started like World War III over his fucking girlfriend dumping him.
Where is she? Lions from across the three kingdoms are out there waiting for our joining ceremony.
We've searched the valley. No one's seen her, sir.
Well, look again! She could have been kidnapped or killed!
Light, I have news of Kyoga.
Finally! Where is she?
She and Kansu's chosen, Karabi, left together. She sent me to tell you she's safe and not to worry.
Left with her? What do you mean?
It seems she means to join with Karabi rather than you, sir.
You're lying. She was kidnapped.
No, she was very clear.
I am Sun Tzu's chosen! Leader of the Sun Kingdom! I decide what's true! Where have they gone?
They didn't say.
No matter. I'll find them.
This way. Light started a war between the Sun and the Storm Kingdoms, accusing Karabi of kidnapping his bride and demanding retribution. It resulted in carnage on a scale never seen before or since.
Like, okay, like, I get it. Getting dumped by your girlfriend on your wedding day is pretty freaking awful. Like, I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemies. But to immediately respond to that with, I'm gonna do World War III and genocide half of lionkind just to freaking get my girlfriend back is just, it's kind of over the top. Let's be real here. Like imagine if, like, Kim Jong-un had a nice, like, big North Korean girlfriend, and she, like, freaking left him for another girl, and, like, his response was just to, like, nuke the entire fucking planet. Like, at what point would, like, any normal, rational human being look at that and go, oh, yeah, it was definitely more of Kyoga's fault than Light's, because if Kyoga didn't dump Light, then maybe he wouldn't have done the bad things that he done. Okay, then why'd he do the bad things in the first place? Well, because he was upset that his girlfriend dumped him. Okay, so when I'm upset when my girlfriend dumps me, I just go on and start killing millions of people who had nothing to do with the bullshit. Would you justify my actions? Well, yeah, exactly. I've seen better defenses for the Imperium of Man being the good guys for 40k than this shit. Just saying. So back to the main plot. Light kills Karabi, Hyoga gets mad and turns into Azra and curses Light for all eternity by making him go through a stupid fucking complicated reincarnation cycle, which makes no goddamn sense. Like, the creator says that, oh, she based, like, all the goddesses off the Greek ones. Like, buddy, if these were, like, the Greek goddesses, they would give Light a way harsher, like, punishment, just saying. Like, probably make him, like, eat his own intestines out for the rest of his fucking life. Or, you know, nail him on a rock and make him watch, like, all of his suffering that he's done to people. But no, we're just gonna curse him with a stupid fucking reincarnation cycle where he's always gonna die by the hands of Karabi, I guess. Okay? Like, I'm pretty sure any fucking evil person on this planet would take that over, like, any other punishment. Like, come on. Like, just like, maybe just, like, grab his soul and obliterate it, you know? Like, you could easily do that. Let's be fucking real here, Azra. You can just, like, maybe, like, just take his soul and, like, subject it to something, not just, like, let him off lightly, because you are forgetting this is a guy who started, like, a whole, like, lion war over the fact that his fucking girlfriend broke up with him. This man pressed the nuclear red button the millisecond he found out his girlfriend had another lover. Like, at what point can we, like, make a line, you know, make like a line of morality? But I'm getting way too ahead of myself here. Kansu reveals that nothing is the reincarnation of Azra, the one that we just talked about, Azra, you know. And, like, after all that's said and done, she wakes up and then she goes to sleep and all this other stuff. Then episode 9, she finds Fire again. Both of them are talking about how great their lives have been and how everything's changed. Oh, yeah, and Fire also, like, mentions that, oh, we're gonna get you a new name, Nothing, which you think would be great, you know. Good for you, Fire. You're giving your sister, who got a really awful name like Nothing, a chance to get an even better name. Great for you. And then Feather just has to show up and be like, her name's actually Nothing. Like, what? What the fuck?
Would you mind coming along to help? You'll have a place in the Pride as long as I'm main, of course.
Her name is Nothing.
What?
You keep calling her sister. Her name is Nothing.
Not for long.
Like, and it comes out of nowhere, too. Like, he goes from, like, loving his, like, adopted sister very dearly to her name is fucking Nothing, you fucking worthless piece of shit. Like that bullshit. He just goes full, like, fucking asshole mode in, like, a millisecond. Like, just, like, flips the script, you know? And all this other stuff. Like, I'm not even joking. Look at this clip.
There's the gazelle, right where I left her. We've got a problem, though. She's standing on the border to a Pride's territory. If the main catches us, we're in trouble.
I think it's worth the risk.
Sounds good. You go left. I'll sneak up on the right and scare in your direction.
Feather took to hunt.
And now look at this clip.
Giving up, though. But I'd love a little backup in case he gets me in a tough spot again. Sister, Feather, would you mind coming along to help? You'll have a place in the Pride as long as I'm main, of course.
Her name is Nothing.
What?
You keep calling her sister. Her name is Nothing.
Not for long. When I'm a main, we'll get my sister a good proper huntress name.
You cannot tell me that his personality fucking flipped. And this isn't the only time where we see personalities being switched around like a game of fucking musical chairs in this show. Because, oh boy, it happens again. So Fire also wants to kill a no-main, or a main, I guess, so he can claim this pride, and they go and do that, but Nothing has PTSD, obviously, from, like, the whole experience of what happened to her. And, yeah, they kill the main, and they go to the pride that's led by this character called Moonstrike, I guess. And Moonstrike's basically like, congratulations, you own our pride, but you see that lion, baby lion over there? You have to kill it. But he's my sister's ward. Okay, that doesn't really matter. You read your fucking pride laws. It says right here, Pride Law verse 4150. Mains have to kill any cub that isn't theirs. So you have to do what I say. But Why? If you want to kill a cub, say what? What? Okay, there we go. He wants to kill a cub, everybody. He has to kill a... And Fire quickly becomes one of the worst written fictional villains I think I've ever seen in a fictional setting. Like, ever. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, fucking Abaddon and, like, Archaon wish that they were this badly written villains. Like, holy fuck. Because he goes from, like, being all this supportive, nice sibling to now he's, like, out here murdering, like, half of his, like, family now because pride law, I guess. So he kills Feather. Nothing gets upset. They both freaking fight. Nothing loses because she's a woman. And Fire's basically all like, it's your fault. And then Nothing basically gets up and goes, I'm a strong female protagonist. I can face you. And then Ghost shows up and basically decides to reveal the truth to everybody.
Don't ignore me! I am a Maine, and I'll protect my pride with my... I'm at the
Okay. Oh, wrong clip, sorry. Ghost reveals that basically Fire killed his friend Tangled. I forgot to mention freaking Tangled. Yeah, I mentioned him like once. He's basically this lion who hangs out with Fire. The fans think that they're gay, but it's revealed that Fire ate Tangled and killed and ate him. So he essentially Jeffrey Dahmer Tangled and all that other stuff. And Fire like is revealed to be more and more evil, I guess. After all that's said and done, Nothing leaves with Ghost. They both travel to the shifting place, which I also forgot to fucking mention. Great. So the shifting place is that thing in Nothing's dreams that she's been dreaming about, basically. And, like, that's her whole, like, jungle place that she was dreaming about. And essentially it's a landscape area that moves and shifts across the landscape or something. It's also where Azra is presumably hiding. And Nothing needs to go there with Ghost in order to break the cycle and find Azra so they can, like, break the cycle, I guess. You know, like, frickin' Bioshock Infinite, Deathloop, both lions, you could say, you know. And that's where my pride ends off at least with season 1. And I hope there's not a season 2 because goddamn this show fucking sucks. The characters are fucking irredeemable as all hell. The lore is so goddamn atrociously bad that I can't help but feel like it's so like boggled down and just dumb. And like the storytelling and the world building's kind of meh in my opinion. Not to mention there's so much like going on in this setting and all of it's barely ever explained and it just makes it feel just so goddamn awful. Like just screw this show, honest to God. But anyways, we are here to also talk about other things about the show. So without further ado, let's discuss about the characters first. More specifically, the villain roster and why my pride sucks at making you feel bad for its villain characters. So, my pride and its more sympathetic characters. They all suck. This is not a joke. This is a fact. Now, I've ranted about this throughout the review multiple times, but like, the characters of this show and the ways that they try to get you to sympathize with them are the most dumbest things that I've ever heard. Honest to God. For example, Power Strike. Let's just say she is a...
Bitch, she's a big fat bitch, she's the biggest bitch in the whole wide world. She's a stupid bitch, and everyone's a bitch, she's a bitch to all the boys and girls. Shut your fucking mouth, Carmen!
And why is she a bitch? Because, well, she named her daughter Nothing for starters. She goes on this whole ass, like, rant in front of her entire, like, family about, like, how bad she is.
Love you, Nothing. I love you so much it hurts. That's the problem. Don't you see? Ezra's teeth. You could have been a hunt chief. You could have been my proudest achievement. And yet, when I look at you, all I can see is who you could have been. It makes me feel weak. Weak is one thing a pride lioness can never be. So I don't look at you. Fire should have done the same to protect himself. He let you make him weak. And if that kills him, so be it. Let's go, huntresses.
He also pushes her away when she tries to comfort her. No, I'm not kidding. Here's a clip.
Kept hoping she'd recover. But now,
I'll miss her too, Mother.
don't touch me! I don't want your pity!
And does all this other bad stuff, and the only excuse that the show gives us as to why she acts like this is because she loves her daughter.
You used to love us! I do love you, Nothing. I love you so much it hurts.
I'm sorry, I'm allergic to bullshit.
However, she isn't the only one who kind of suffers from these issues, as there are many other characters in the show who suffer from the exact same kind of thing, like Quickmane. Like, everyone likes to believe that Quickmane is this, like, morally gray character who's like, yeah, he did a lot of bad things, but he had to follow pride law and all this other shit. Until I say in the same episode where, you know, he names Nothing and murders her entire family and all this other shit. He's killing children, right, in this episode. Like, you know, he's committing, like, one of the worst actions, like, a character in fiction can commit. You know? And as he's doing this, he has a big, goofy-ass grin on his face. Can someone please explain this to me? Like, okay, I get it. He's supposed to be a morally complex character. Like that, like, him murdering kids is going to change that fact. And the only reason why the fan base suggests that he's morally complex is because he's nice to his kids. I mean, there are a lot of bad people in real life who love their kids, but would you justify their actions, you know? Just saying. If you want me to feel bad for your Quickmane character, then Tribble of Doom should have thought of way more other things to make me sympathize with him than just, oh, he loved his kids. Okay? And let's go back to the whole fucking, like, child murder thing, because, like, out of all the things that you would want, like, your supposedly sympathetic, morally complex villains to do, the last thing you want to do is have them murder children. Like, I'm sorry, like, you know, like, child murder is up there with one of the worst things a person can do. And I get it that there are other fictional series that sort of have these things happen in them, but it's never used to justify the characters or try to show them in a morally complex light, or trying to be like, oh, they did that bad thing, but, you know, because of pride law and all this other shit. For example, in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, when Anakin Skywalker murders a bunch of children, you know the clip.
Master Skywalker, there are too many of them. What are we going to do?
It's never used, like, by any Star Wars fans to justify Darth Vader's actions for the most part, and this is for a pretty obvious reason. A, because it's really goddamn dark, and murdering children is kind of a hard thing to justify, no matter who's doing it. And second of all, it's used to basically show how far Anakin has fallen to the dark side, and basically how evil he's become. Not as, oh, well, he did that bad thing, but you see, he's changed, therefore he's morally complex. The same thing goes for, like, the salamanders in Warhammer 40k. For the amount of, like, memes I've seen where people have talked about how much of, like, cuddle bears they are, and how nice of a guy that they are, they can be absolute monsters, and them burning Eldari children alive is a perfect prime example of how not all factions in 40k are as nice as people love to think them as.
Eldar are undone, my brothers. The Emperor has granted us victory this day. Gosh, I never thought I'd say this about the Marines Malevolent. You guys really came through for us today. And you know how much I hate to give compliments, but for a bunch of ugly rock monsters who reek of Promethean, you guys aren't half bad. Hey, you didn't even call me a racial slur. I know. I really feel like I've grown as a person over the course of this mission. I'm proud of you. Hey, look, it looks like some Eldar kids have hunkered down in those ruins. Good luck, you little knife-eared bastards. I hear the Orphanarium is real nice this time of year. Yeah. Well, time to burn them to a crisp. Yeah, time to... holy shit! What did you just say? Well, yeah, we can't just leave them there. They're probably gonna grow up to resent us. We can't have that.
Sorry, but sometimes the memes don't tell as much truth about the setting as you thought. Just saying. And of course, across the My Pride series, there are plenty of other examples I can go through of characters that are trying to be shown as morally complex when in actuality, their complexity makes utterly no goddamn sense. For instance, Fire. Now, I don't want to sound like a big-ass Fire supporter here, but to be honest, the bro got his whole game rigged from the start, let's be real. Because he starts off as a very loving and caring brother to his disabled sister. Now granted, back when they were cubs, he was kind of an asshole, but to be fair, all kids are kind of assholes as kids. I mean, look at us. I'm pretty sure, like, when we were kids, we were assholes. Let's be real with ourselves. There's probably one time where we said or did things that, looking back on them, we wish we never did. But back in those times, we were kids, you know, we knew no better, you know? That's why we're adults now, because we know better, you know? But with Fire, yeah, a lot of people in the fan base argue that, oh, because he was a kid, he was bad and all this other shit. And it's like, okay, way to put him on a fucking unrealistic pedestal and be blind hypocrites towards him, you know? Just saying. However, when, like, his sister gets injured by Quickman, we see a turning point in his character, where he stops going from this brother who doesn't care for his sister to trying to be there for her. And after, you know, for the fact that her brother and her father are now dead, and basically Fire's the only, like, family member left besides Power Strike to actually care for her that's left, it pretty much shows his change and redemption into a much better brother just to, you know, be there for her sister, like all people should strive to be for their siblings or loved ones. And we see this more and more and more. Him wanting to help out nothing, him wanting to take nothing with her, but he can't because, you know, Quickmane and all sort of shit. And I know that everyone says, oh, Fire's a coward, which, yeah, for the most part he is, but just because you are kind of cowardly doesn't really mean that you are comparable to the scummiest, bullshittiest person in the world. Like, at least Fire was trying to be a good brother, something which Feather clearly didn't get the memo of.
Her name is nothing.
What?
You keep calling her sister. Her name is nothing.
Shut the fuck up, Lily!
Yeah, screw Feather. I do not care for him one little bit. You can argue how, oh, cute and funny he is, but I see through his eyes, and I see the kind of demonic creature he will grow up to be. And then at the end of episode 9, it's like his character just flipped. Honest to God. I feel like they took out the original Fire and replaced him with his evil clone or some shit. Because that's how far his character flips. He goes from this loving brother who cares for his sister, and then he just turns into this fucking monster. Well, not even monster, like just this crazed lunatic. Like, for starters, he kills his sister. He does all this other bad shit. And his only excuse for doing this is because of Pride Law. And that's the point where it became clear to me that Tribble of Doom has no idea about writing a sympathetic villain or character or whatever the fuck you want to call them. She's just throwing shock value at the wall until something sticks. Which, as a person who wants to write good stories, is a terrible and absolutely stupid thing to do if you want to write actually complex stories. No offense, but having shock value in your fucking story and relying on it to a point where it becomes a part of that story is not good writing. I do not care what any of you guys say. It is more of an example of bad writing. For those of you in doubt, I just want to remind you that I sat down and watched The Rise of Skywalker, and to be honest, that fucking movie relied on shock value way too much and stupid-ass plot twists similar to My Pride's, and would you say that was a good movie? Fuck no. Case in point, My Pride is just something similar to most other modern day movie trash like the new Star Wars movies or the new Marvel movies, where instead of actually telling us a story with heroes and bad guys and actually showing morally complex characters in an interesting way, they're just like, oh shit, Palpatine's back, you guys. Oh, look at this, all this other shit. Like, it's like that shit, honest to God. Like, Tribble of Doom has no idea how to write these characters. And I'm so sick and tired of seeing these people act like Tribble of Doom's some masterclass writer, when in actuality she's just some talentless 4-year-old who has no life whatsoever and wants to run around and act like she is on top with the big boys, when in actuality her work deserves to be thrown into a dumpster and set on fire.
And bigotry.
Okay. It inspired me to create Counter-Us.
I don't care.
All of the good and none of the bad.
I don't need another speech by some impotent whack job whose mother didn't love him, rationalizing why he needs to conquer the universe.
Yeah, it's that bad. And then, of course, there is a lot of more other examples I could use. There's the whole Light and Kyoga shit, which, to be honest, I'm just going to say it right now. I really don't care about the whole Light and Kyoga thing, to be honest. I think it's really terribly written how it's put into the show, where it just starts off as this ancient legend, and then, like, halfway through the show, it just gets revealed, like, oh yeah, Light's, like, the evil lion this whole time, and Karabi and Kyoga were the good guys, and it's just like, okay, another bit of useless information, I guess. Just show us the whole Light and Kyoga plot 8 episodes in for no goddamn reason other than the fact that, oh, we need to fill out running time. Let's make a filler episode and make it extremely more filler, you know? Like, why are people praising this shit again? Now, when it comes down to Light and Kyoga, I have seen a lot of videos basically saying that one was more evil over another. Like some videos saying that Light was more abusive towards Kyoga, like this one.
Do when it comes to finally getting married. And it's a valid point to be upset that she's backed herself into a corner. But what isn't valid is accusing her of not caring for doing so. What really isn't valid is committing war crimes because your girlfriend broke up with you. All signs point to Light being manipulative and abusive, even if he never physically harmed Kyoga. And yet we're supposed to feel bad for him because she didn't break up with him correctly, whatever that means.
Or that Kyoga was more at fault for dumping Light instead of, the other way around, like this one.
Despite being the victim in my eyes at first, with strict analysis, this is the character I'm most upset with. On one hand, she definitely shouldn't have gone through with the joining ceremony. She was right to listen to Karabi, but she listened in the wrong sense. She should have told Light what was going on as soon as she realized she wouldn't be happy with him. He's our best friend for Azra's sake. After all, he never really believed it until he heard it from her mouth. And if they were so close that Kyoga was fighting with her dearest love over his life, after he had caused so much carnage, then why wouldn't he be understanding to her? Sure, maybe approach him with witnesses and tell him the truth, and if he reacts badly, then she has a small group of lions to protect her, and then she can run away. Or he could have been the same understanding lion we saw earlier in the story. We'll never know. When Light confronts her with the newfound reality that she really did do the equivalent of leaving him at the altar, her response is,
I did what I had to do to be happy.
Really? What a little shit. Instead of even apologizing to him, she really just makes an excuse. When she does try to apologize, it's for her girlfriend's murder attempt on him. Really?
I'm so stupid.
Yes, you are.
And to give my honest opinion on this whole thing, I think they're both at fault. And when I say that they're both at fault, I don't mean that one was more, morally justified than the other or any of that fucking crap. I mean, it is both honestly equally, line to line, their fault, Because on the one hand, yeah, getting dumped on your wedding day is still a pretty bad thing. I don't care how, abusive Light was. I don't think anyone deserves to get ditched on their wedding day by their partner, especially if they're cheating on them with another person, But it's also important to acknowledge that Light, in response to his girlfriend breaking up with him, started a whole-ass war, which is, way more worse than whatever Kyoga did to him. Just saying. And after all this reading and stuff to have gone through, I'm honestly at the opinion that it's kind of both their faults in the ways. And I kind of find it funny that you have people like advocating for one side over the other, or trying to label it that way, when in actuality both of them are just equally as bad. So what really should have happened is that both of the sides should have been cleansed in order to bring out the true peace and prosperity of the Emerald Valley. So yeah, in other words, you probably know what kind of person I would be whenever it comes to debates like this. Just saying. But it only furthers my point more, as it proves that A, My Pride can't write interesting and well-written antagonistic characters, and, well, B, that they kind of suck at even writing the morally complex line when both of the characters are equally as shitty as the other, you know? If you want an example of an episode from a TV show that did this kind of shit way better than My Pride ever could, then I would recommend checking out Futurama, and its episode about Fry's dad. Now, Futurama is one of my more favorite comedy shows written out there, with its witty humor, its funny parallels to real-worldness, its political satire, and all this other stuff while taking place in a futuristic world. It's a really good and funny show, I find, and it's definitely up there with some of my favorite ones, like Smiling Friends. Shows that know what it means to actually be funny. Unlike My Pride. In this Futurama episode entitled Cold Warriors, the whole episode is essentially about Fry having flashbacks about his dad and his family, and how his dad basically mistreats him and all this other stuff, and does some really questionable things in the episode.
Mom, what's my temperature? 50? 45? 40? It's all over!
Woo! Down to the 35!
I'm really sick.
Huh? Oh, sorry. 109. We'll check it again at halftime.
You home from school, you traitor?
I fell through the ice. Cut me some slack.
Nobody cut me any slack when I broke my spine. Didn't even take a day off of work. A lot of people depend on you when you sell trampolines door to door.
Here's your homework, you lucky knob.
And with a little more luck from my 7-leaf clover, I might get sick enough to miss the whole semester.
Hey, give me that!
Oh, come on! No!
Give it to me, you faker!
No, you're not getting... Ow! My underbite!
Come on, Yancey, your brother's sick. You'll never have a better chance to take him out.
Dad!
However, unlike in My Pride, in this episode of Futurama, it actually gives us a really, really, really good reason as to why we should, sympathize with Fry's dad. And pretty much shows him to actually not be as bad as we thought. Because at the end of the episode, he essentially tells his son that the reason why he's hard on him for most of his life is that he wants him to grow up strong and tough, and not be weak. And most importantly, to make sure that whatever hard things life throws at him, he can always bounce back.
Now I'll give you the shot.
You saved millions of lives, Fry. You should feel proud, no matter what your dad said to you.
You still haven't thanked me for pulling you out of the lake, soldier.
I could have flip-flopped out.
I know that. Look, son, I know I give you the business sometimes, but if I'm hard on you, it's only 'cause I want you to grow up strong and resilient. Someday, you may face adversity so preposterous I can't even conceive of them. But I know you'll pull through and make me proud. I love you, son. Now bundle up. I don't want you getting frozen.
It's sort of an example of the tough love trope. However, it's the tough love trope that's done right, in my opinion. And also, yes, I have heard My Pride fans try to justify that what Power Strike did to Nothing was quote-unquote tough love, but I don't think naming your daughter Nothing, going on a whole, rant over her, and, doing all this other shit to her, isn't tough love. Especially when, unlike Fry's dad, she never admits to the reason why she's doing these things in an honest and mature way. Just saying. Case in point, Fry's dad is the Giga Chad to Power Strike's Crying Soy Jack. In other words, one did their episode better, and the other one did not. And that's the honest point about my pride that I wanted to make about this section, is that no matter how hard you try justifying its villain character, at the end of the day, you're basically just going to go nowhere with this. Because at the end of the day, half of my pride's cast is just horribly written, and a lot of them are just kind of just have just the stupidest reasons for them to do the things that they do. And it only serves my point more that Tribble doesn't understand how to write shit. Which brings us to my next point in this video. Oh boy, world building and lore. World building and lore is basically very important for every form of fictional media, even ones that really don't have a big-ass plot going around. There's still a lot of lore and a lot of things that go on that sort of are the background information of what's going on in your world. For instance, in Star Wars, we know that the Clone Wars occurred, which basically built up the whole Galactic Empire and why it basically rules the galaxy nowadays. In Warhammer 40k, we know that the God Emperor started the Great Crusade before his whole downfall with the Horse Heresy happened to show how the Imperium became an utterly tyrannical mess. And in the case of my pride, its world building is used to explain how Pride Law came to be, because there were once 3 kingdoms that now got dissolved after a big war caused by a guy who got dumped on his wedding day by his girlfriend, so he created the equivalent of a religion to oppress other lions, I guess. Now, I 100% believe that Pride Law is supposed to be an allegory for religion, because there's way too much similarities to it and most other like real world religions out there that you could make that assessment. For instance, the fact that the Pride Lions worship gods or goddesses is a perfect example of that. Try naming something that isn't a religion that worships an almighty, all-knowing, powerful being. That's right, you can't. And that's pretty much what Pride Law is. It's pretty much just an allegory for religion. A really bad allegory for religion. Because aside from a few little lore drops and tidbits, we never get any, like, proper information about, like, this shit, you know? We never find out, like, the specifics of different Pride Law philosophies or any of that other stuff. Or if it's actually, like, real-world religions where each religion has its own unique sect. Are there different sects of Pride Law, you know? Maybe there's one sect more devoted to Suns as opposed to another sect that's more devoted to Azra or Kansu. Or maybe that there are some Pride Lions who are a lot more oppressive towards the female lionesses than they are like any other lion prides, you know? Etc., etc., etc. But here we only get this whole freaking, like, Pride Law exists thing, and then, like, in episode fucking 9 we get this weird pride that, like, rejects Pride Law, I guess.
I have defeated your mane. By the rights of Pride Law, I claim this pride as my property. I am Firemane, and you are mine now.
I'm this pride's hunt chief, and I do not accept you as my main. Who are these prideless you've allowed into our home?
That's my sister and her ward. They're under my protection.
A true main doesn't raise cubs who aren't his blood. Kill it, or you have no claim to our pride.
He's hardly a cub. He's nearly grown.
Then he's a rival. You killed my mate of many seasons to win our pride. Finish what you started, or leave us.
I don't fucking know. This whole world building thing is like an utter mess in my pride, because it literally just goes nowhere. But I mean, that's what happens when your story is basically filled to the brim with like shock value shit at the end of the day. There's also the fact that Proudman uses the word heretic. No, I'm not kidding. Here's a clip.
You're a stubborn idiot, but I won't let you die for it.
Step down, Farleap. You're a prime example of a devout pride huntress. This foolishness is beneath you.
I'll decide what I am. Thanks.
Leave them be, Proudmane. I stand with my huntresses.
Flaming eyes! How is it that I've captured an entire pride of heretics? Go and chase your ghost!
You ever look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head?
Heresy! 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 Come on, baby, give me some heresy! What shit's heresy?
Oh boy, I wonder what else uses that word heretic before. It definitely wasn't used by, any other form of organized system. There's definitely no other fucking system that uses the word heretic at all. Golly gee, I wonder what Pride Law is supposed to be parodying. Now sure, you can argue that Pride Law is based on other oppressive systems and all this other stuff, but at the end of the day, it's mostly when you look at it more and more, it more resembles some kind of religious totalitarian state thing rather than any other form of organized totalitarian state thing. Which it's not bad to show a religious system preying upon the innocence of people, but in my pride's case, they just do it in a real shitty and a real fucking nonsensical way, because let's actually think about it here. How much Pride Law would actually make sense if it existed? So, if Pride Law is oppressive towards females, right? Then why are they worshipping female gods? Let's be honest here. Because even, if you look back at the old mythologies and all this other stuff, and you can argue, well, back in ancient Greece and ancient, Norse shit, they were kind of sexist. To that I say, yeah, because they also had male gods ruling over everything. In ancient Greek mythology, which supposedly is what the My Pride goddesses are based on, the ruler of the gods is Zeus, a guy who has his way with women whenever he wants to. So what does that say about that society that, their ruler of the gods is a guy who just pounds whatever the fuck he wants? And this is true for every other religion, as most religions in the world are basically more male-focused than female-focused. Even in older mythologies. However, in the case of my pride, trying to build a sexist, homophobic society in the most realistic way possible is to give them female leaders. There's no other mentions of a male god or goddess, it's just all females. You'd think that you think the society would be more female focused then, because then females have more of a say in the pride and the males would probably be the ones outcasted, but no, I guess not. How's this supposed to be realistic again? There's another problem that I see with my pride is that a lot of the fans praise how realistic it is, when in actuality a lot of the shit that happens in this show couldn't be far off from the truth. For instance, so the whole gore shit in my pride, it's not really as graphic as a lot of people believe, because in order to create my pride gore, all you need to do is take a lion, paint him red, and then you got your my pride gore. That's literally all it looks like to me. It just looks like you took a lion and just painted over a bunch of red blood stuff on him, and that's basically it. I do not care. It does not look graphic. It does not look gory. So stop trying to advertise it like it is. The only time that it got kind of graphic was when Nothing scratched Quickmane's face. But even then, it's not, that violent at the end of the day, in my opinion. This whole, shit where, you have fans talking about how gory and edgy my pride is the equivalent of those stupid creepypasta kids who'd run up to you in school and say, oh my god, look at this, it's a scary creepypasta guy, it keeps me up at night, and then you sit there and watch it, and it's just a horribly photoshopped version of Squidward from SpongeBob with MS Paint, red paint, drawn on his fucking eyeballs. Why am I supposed to be scared of this? The same thing with my pride too. As a person who enjoys a lot of dark stuff, especially grim dark stuff, which, oh boy, grim dark stuff would make fucking my pride look tame in comparison. Holy shit. But anyways, the fact that you have all these stupid edgy my pride fans thinking that their show is the equivalent of them having like this really cool and serious show is just so like stupid, especially when you find out that there are other things that have way more darker and way more mature subjects out there. And I'm not just going to stop there too, because episode 8 just feels like another mess, because it literally comes out of freaking nowhere. Now I get it, they're building up to the whole nothing being a goddess thing, but to go ahead and just like try to twist the whole Light Kyoga story to be like it's actually a twisted love story, when there's like no evidence of this actually existing or whatsoever in the show, just proves my point even more. Like, why did episode 8 need to exist? Why is there chosen goddess? Why is nothing a chosen goddess at this point? Why is there a whole reincarnation thing going around? You also have people comparing this shit to Avatar, and to that I say, no, it is not like Avatar. Because at least with Avatar, the whole story revolves around him being the Avatar. The first season, he finds this out and is thus being hunted down for it. I mean, hell, the whole show is called Avatar for a goddamn reason. But with My Pride, it starts off in the first 5 episodes as a story about a crippled lioness living in a society that utterly hates her, so you'd think that the story would be an outcasty kind of story. And then this bullshit about her being the next reincarnation of a goddess comes butt fucking nowhere. It also comes out in the probably what is one of the most fanfiction-y-esque episodes I've ever fucking seen in this show, aka episode 8, the whole Light and Kyoga shit. That's what I'm just going to call this episode. Because not only did they take this legend and just decide, hey, we're just going to rewrite it in fucking season 1 of a show, but we're also going to do all this other shit. And it's like, it just proves my point even more. That A, My Pride writers don't understand how to write shit. And even if they did know how to write shit, they probably fail at it. And second of all, the fact that the My Pride fans continue to gobble this shit up like the fucking disgusting, filth-ridden, basement-dwelling pigs that they all fucking are. So, yeah. Overall, this whole reincarnation thing really doesn't make that much sense, and to see people trying to compare it to something like Avatar is really fucking laughable in my opinion. So with all of that being said, how do we fix this whole fucking issue of My Pride's world building? Well, for starters, to fix the whole Pride Law religious thing and how much it doesn't make sense, how about let's change the story a bit? How about instead of 3 sisters, we make 2 sisters, and make one sister
a straight white man.
I know, crazy, changing the gender of one of the goddesses. What am I, some kind of madman? Yes I am. Because, like, really think about it. Like, if Pride Law, if you want, like, a more realistic version of Pride Law, then why is it just 3 elemental goddesses that are stuck in the sky who basically the lines of worship? Wouldn't it make more sense if one of them was a male and more dominated his sisters? Not in that way, but, like, in more of a conqueror's kind of way. Not in the way that you're probably thinking about. How about, instead of there being 3 sisters, there was a sister, a mother, and a son. Sounds kind of, more interesting now, does it? And what if during the whole Light and Kyoga, whole Kingdom War kind of stuff, like, after Light won, not only did it, like, shake up the boundaries and, like, I guess, like, the status quo of the kingdoms, but also might have shifted the status quo of the goddesses as well, or the gods, or whatever, to now the more male-dominated Sun Kingdom, led by Suns, the male god of rage, honor, glory, and most importantly, quote-unquote, honesty, or at least that's what they'll probably say. You know, hint that the Suns Lions are kind of the ones who try to control the truth, even though the actual truth paints them in a way more worse light, but because they are the rulers now of Pride Society, or this new Pride society that they've made up, then they, well, paint themselves as such, if you know what I'm hinting at. And because basically now all the Azra worshippers and the Kansu worshippers are either all gone or now take the roles of outsidery kind of lions, you have this new ass gimmick where the Suns lions basically control everything and create their own little pride law system, which they govern to most other modern lions, which is the system that now prevails in my Pride universe, as well as give like the other lions, like the Moon Kingdom lions and the Rain Kingdom lions, as more outcasty kind of lions who try to live their own societies in this new world where the Suns lions now dominate. You could also have this as kind of a power struggle, as maybe Azra saw all the devastation that Light caused, and after her stepping in and her trying to step in during the conflict, basically angered the Suns lion into maybe punishing her and locking her away into a secret like shifting place. Or hell, maybe he didn't even lock her away. Maybe it even drove like a wedge between them, causing her to flee. And maybe in turn this caused the Suns lion to take over her spot and her place, basically ruling the gods as a tyrant, if that makes sense. Like, you see where I'm going with this stuff. And I know that everything that I just made up kind of sounds just a lot similar to that one Clone Wars episode with the son, the father, and the daughter. But I'm just saying that if, like, the fans wanted it to be more realistic, then they could have, like, just done this, you know? Could have actually made it feel more realistic. Not just a bunch of bullshit that just, you know, happens. And all this other crap. So yeah, overall, my Pride's world building is very fucking weird. Mainly due to the fact that Pride law is supposed to be this allegory for religion, but it's done in a really shitty way that makes no goddamn sense. And the fact that a lot of things happen in the world that basically aren't led up to or explained like at all, except for in the supplementary lore videos. But I mean, that's like what for like lore channels are for, and I don't see a My Pride lore channel basically anywhere. So yeah. Also, before I finish off this section, I just want to mention that My Pride had a tabletop game too. Like, as someone who loves his little tabletop kind of things like Warhammer, Trench Crusade, or fucking D&D. Well, I don't play D&D, but it is something that I would kind of be interested in trying at least once, you know? I used to have a friend who loved D&D. He'd show me, like, all this cool D&D stuff, you know? But, anyways, getting off topic there. I just find it weird that My Pride, like, for already just having like one season of a show tried to do a tabletop game. Like, it's not like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings where it has all this lore built up upon it to the point where you can actually like make like different like games and versions on it. Like, My Pride only has one season of a show. As you can imagine, playing this game probably is very hard to do, and it's probably one of the reasons why I have not seen a single video other than the creator of My Pride herself playing this quote-unquote My Pride tabletop game. Because, you know, if I was at my local hobby store and I, you know, see the My Pride tabletop tournament or a tournament for a Warhammer game, then you probably know which one I'm going to go to and which one I'm probably not going to care about. Because, like I said before, unless your world has a lot of characters, scenarios, creatures, and other things that happen in it, then why should I care about your little game then? Just saying something. Oh boy, this part is going to be a juicy one. So, as a person who is on the spectrum, you would think that My Pride's quote-unquote disabled representation would be very nice to see from a person like me. Well, you'd be flat out wrong, because this representation fucking sucks. Why does it suck? Well, for starters, the main character, Nothing, is just shown to be sad and miserable all the time, which is already a great sign that you have good disabled representation. Also, the fact that they try to justify, like, the people who constantly, like, ridicule her, belittle her, and fucking treat her like shit as being morally in a better standpoint than her, or them having a better reason to be mad at her and all this other shit, is just dumb and just backwards in messaging, to be honest. Like, seriously. You know the amount of, like, bullshit that, like, people with, like, actual, like, physical and mental disabilities have to go through in life? Like, your show is not doing them any fucking favors at all. If you're going to sit there and say shit like, oh, Quickmane was wronged first, therefore Nothing was in the wrong that day, or Hover actually had a reason to be mad at Nothing because she missed an assessment that Hover did not fucking care about. Like, it just makes me mad about the representation that's treated in this show, and how, like, this, like, stereotypical, like, bullshit is basically treated like the norm. And it's not the only time where we've seen people who treat stereotypes as representation in media before. Because there are a lot of stupid people on this platform who say a lot of stupid shit and believe that, oh, they are in the right and desperately want those brownie points, because let's be real here, that's the only reason why you guys are even saying this is good representation in the first place, before you all double down the millisecond you get called out on your bullshit. You just want your precious little brownie points for your precious little show, a show that's never going to be made, so I do not give a flying shit about what any of you say. This is also true for many of the other characters in the show, like the whole, like, relationship between Hover and Nothing is just kind of bad, I'm going to say, because not only does Hover ditch her girlfriend over the most pointless shit, but in the next episode it's implied she's flirting with her sister who also abused her. Like, Jesus Christ, at this point, like, Nothing's story might as well be so horrible, it's up there with, like, it is up there with Dr. Doofenshmirtz's backstory in Phineas and Ferb. No, I am not kidding. Nothing might as well have been dressed up in a lawn gnome outfit and forced to stand at the family lawn while the family went to go get ice cream at that point, you know? Like, her backstory is literally, like, just as bad. I'm surprised she doesn't just go insane and just become, like, the next fucking Joker or some shit. Which is very, very, very horrible to do any show that you're trying to promote to an audience of quote-unquote disabled people, and trying to say that what you're making right here is representation, when in actuality it's not representation. It's bullshit that you're hiding as representation. Now, what I'm about to say is probably going to be one of the most controversial things that I've ever said in this review, but to be honest, the more that I look at my pride, the more it resembles this, but I'm just gonna say what I think. That being, of course, that my pride is woke. I am not joking when I say this. I 100% believe that my pride is, like, the most wokest furry shit that you will see. Well, definitely not the most wokest, but is, like, startlingly up there with a lot of them. Because for starters, just like most of the whole woke accusation stuff, my pride does not care for its diversity one little bit. It acts like it does, but it uses harmful stereotypes and all this other shit to act like it's on your side. Sort of similar to how Disney put a queer couple in the Rise of Skywalker, but instead of doing it in a very meaningful way, they just put it in the background in hopes that no one would notice, because, you know, you don't want to lose that social credit from China now, do you? Same thing goes with Tribble, where she wants to create diversity, but rather than actually walking up to a actual, like, gay person or a disabled person on the street and being like, oh, hey, I want you to help me with writing diversity or some shit like that. It's just, oh, I'm going to make my own because I'm such a good storyteller. And it basically led us to here with this mess. This fucking abomination of a series. Like, Tribble of Doom has to be probably the most scummy person I've ever seen. Because it is one thing to create bad representation, but it is another thing to try to act like it's good representation and brainwash your little, like, naive audience into thinking that what you're making is breaking ground, when actually it is not breaking ground. It is punching up and then downwards into its face, because my pride basically does not know how to write good characters without them falling behind on stereotypes. You want to know how you write a good character that's still diverse but still a character? Write them into being actually human. Like, if South Park and fucking Family Guy can write characters with disabilities, but do it in a way that actually humanizes them and doesn't just make them some sad, always depressed person that exists to basically be the punching bag for the show, then you've pretty much failed at being a good writer. Or for that matter, writing diversity.
Congratulations, you're a failure.
Also, speaking of scummy, the biggest and most penultimate question: is Tribble of Doom a bad person? To that I say, yes. Yes, she is. She has been caught doing a lot, and I mean a lot, of fucking bad stuff. Ranging from using a Black Lives Matter protest to promote her own show, because like I said before, it's not about diversity with this creator, it's more about the money. You know, that precious little moolah. She also gets mad at her fans and, you know, calls them a lot of bad things, all because they just want to talk to her and all this other shit. Not to mention the fact that she also gets mad at her nice fans. She also called one of her actors for Proud Mate an abuser and all this other shit. Even though the accusations that she accused the old actor of Proud Mate of were highly unfounded in the first place. What else did she do? Oh yeah, she also had an entire Google document made about her, basically covering every bad thing she did, from being ableist, racist, sexist, homophobic, and transphobic things that were said on various of her Discord servers. She also got accused of being a cupcake lover. Now, for those of you who are unaware of what a cupcake lover is or means, let's just say, EDP445 coined that term, and if you know anything about what that guy tried to do with a minor, then, you know what I'm talking about.
Well, I was actually coming out here to pick up a cupcake and then go back home.
Yeah, if that doesn't show how much of a bad person Tribble actually is, then I don't know what is. Even if it's not her who directly did that, it still probably happened on her Discord server, and it's still probably something that people should recognize about her. Because newsflash, everyone on this goddamn platform is capable of doing something bad. And I've seen a lot of freaks and degenerates go unnoticed by a lot of people, even though a lot of the shit that they say on the internet is, let's just say, pretty fucking weird. Let's be real here. And the fact that no one here is trying to call out Tribble, or hell, even knows the kind of bad shit she's been up to, is so fucking weird to me. And I think it's about time to change that and show the world the kinds of fucked up things that she's doing and has been accused of. And even if a lot of them aren't true, I still think it's important to acknowledge them rather than just sweeping them underneath the rug. I find it baffling that there are still My Pride fans who think that she's a good person and that all the accusations are unfounded. Like, yeah, there are some accusations that are unfounded, but there's a lot more evidence for a lot more other things that she's done, like the BML post is a real post that she did, and all this other stuff. And the fact that she hasn't apologized or taken responsibility for saying these things too proves how much of a stuck-up little bitch she actually is. Moral of the story, don't trust anyone on the internet. Pretty fair moral, in my opinion. Overall, what are my final thoughts on My Pride? Well, My Pride is, as the title of this video implies, a show that exists. It is nothing more than just another blind attempt at trying to get popularity with an animated series. However, this animated series was probably one of the worst ones I've ever seen. Say what you want about Has-Been or Hell of a Boss, but at least there was actually somewhat of a plot going on in the earlier episodes, and there's actually potential in there for it. There is no potential in My Pride other than the fact that there was just the one episode that was kind of good. And even then, just because My Pride episode 1 was kind of good doesn't mean it was going to save the series. Because I feel like Tribble basically saw, like, her, like, shock value in the first episode and basically wanted to use that shock value as a template to create all the random-ass plot twists that happen in the show. And from there, it sort of created the extreme mess that was My Pride. Instead of having interesting characters, lore, and ideas, it just kept doubling down on itself over and over and over again until there was nothing left to salvage. It just became one monotonous mess, a mess that relied on cheap shock value, horrible representation, misunderstanding of proper sympathetic villains, and an overall stupid, pointless plot about a whole goddess reincarnation thing. And that's the reason why My Pride failed. It wanted to be something, but didn't know what it wanted to do, so it kept throwing shit at the wall until something stuck. But unlike those scenarios, nothing stuck with My Pride, and it ended up being forgotten about and becoming what is probably the fastest killed animated series here on YouTube that I have ever seen. At least Helva Boss had somewhat of a slow death. My Pride, the millisecond that one review came out criticizing it, pretty much fell over on its belly and died at that point. And you know what? It was a deserved fate, because this show was just one gigantic waste of my time. There are thousands of other animated shows, movies, and other things that are on this platform that have way more talent going on in them than just a show created by a Canadian YouTuber and her team of animators who created this crap. There are way better alternatives to My Pride, like the webcomic I Hope So, that's like My Pride but way more better. But before I end this video off, I actually want to talk about one other thing that's better than My Pride, but I feel like doesn't get talked about a lot in these kinds of reviews. There is a rewrite of the entire My Pride series up here for free on YouTube, created by a YouTuber called Titanium Shortcake. And I just want to say that the entire rewrite that this person wrote is 1,000 times better than the entirety of the show itself. God, I would even say that if, the show was written like this rewrite was, I actually probably would have liked, if not enjoyed, the show. But because the show wasn't actually written like that, I ended up hating it instead. I just want to say, Titanium Shortcake, if you're watching this review, you should have written the My Pride show. I'm being 100% serious when I say that. Your script for the My Pride rewrite is 1,000 times more better because the characters are not pieces of shit that only care for themselves and no one else, and the sympathetic villain whole aspect is actually given thought and actually gives me a way better reason to sympathize with them. Overall, if you haven't watched this rewrite, I would highly recommend checking it out, because out of all the My Pride content that people have made to basically make the show better or to make their own parody versions of it, this one is probably, in my opinion, the best one, and probably the most overlooked one, in my personal opinion. But overall, My Pride as a show, I cannot recommend. I'm sorry, all you My Pride fans who are going to get butthurt at me making fun of your show, but it's honestly the truth. Because this show just felt like a giant waste of time. Everything that I've mentioned in this review is basically my opinion, though, so if you still like the show at the end of this, then yeah, I'm glad that you can see something in the show that I can't. But that is your opinion, and opinions should be respected for the most part. So, like I said before, if you like this video, make sure to share it or subscribe. If you really didn't like my video and are one of those My Pride fans who are going to send death threats, I have two options for My Pride fans here, if you want to criticize me. Either A, you can do it in an actual mature way without saying shit like, oh, fuck you, dude, My Pride is actually the best show. Just shut up, honestly. Because if you're just gonna, come to my comment section and start yapping about crap, then I'm either A, not going to respond to your comment, or B, probably delete it for shits and giggles, because I really do not give a fuck. But if you're one of the actual mature and normal My Pride fans who actually want to have a normal conversation about the show and a normal critique, then I will actually respond to you, because if you show me respect, then I will show you respect. That's how it's going to go. Not this whole crap where you're going to come into my channel and say whatever the fuck you want and think you can get away with it. If you seriously get triggered over someone criticizing a show, then I think it's about time you get off your stupid fucking iPad and go touch some goddamn grass. Anyways, I'm the Behooded Files. Thank you for watching. Make sure to check out my other stuff and support my channel. And I hope you guys have a very, very, very bright and sunny day. See ya.